Okay, so the first clip I have today is just a random clip I did on my level 50 character. Root level 50, and you can see Soreseal Gaming up here, and I'll just like play the clip and then you just give me your thoughts or say when I need to stop. All right?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, and here we go.
Honestly, the Soreseal has just, in my opinion, become much more viable since the damage nerf.
The Soreseal? More viable?
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
Or at least in my opinion. Like, I don't know if that's a widely held opinion, but it certainly seems like it's less risky now to me.
And have you, like, on what level did you try it out?
I've been running Soreseal on my Goblin level 80 plus 16 for basically its entire life.
Okay, crazy. Yeah, my usual cutoff point is level 50. After that, I try to stay off the Soreseal, but hey, probably worth a test, I guess.
Honestly, like, that is exactly what I do on my other level 80. It's too risky, or was at least. We're watching that new guard break meta in action. So what do we got here? That's the Great Epee. Flaming Strike on Great Epee is really, really good. I've been messing around with it recently, and it adds that sideways swing to something that doesn't usually have one, or doesn't have a good one anyway.
No.
Both crowd control and focus in one move. That was a nice turn and burn.
Yeah, sadly
I'm sorry.
Sadly, the recording didn't pick up from the start because I thought 5 minutes were enough to record, and yeah, this invasion was way longer than 5 minutes. And here you can see my first gripe, but that's always been an issue, I guess, for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. The Phantom riposte is honestly a complete game killer, because not only do you not get any damage, but everyone else gets about 2 to 3 seconds to reset and recharge while you can't do anything.
No.
It's not just a missed opportunity, it's an active penalty. I was about to say before, fighting out here looks like literal hell. All of these things you get stuck on, all these little barriers that don't quite help you, but just obstruct you enough to be a problem.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, guards break quickly now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, bloody hell. Were these Phantoms overleveled, or are they just...
I think the Millennial Hand one wasn't that overleveled. Sadly, I didn't get to kill the big Bunga Bunga guy. But I think one jumping attack took half of my health, which you will see in a few seconds.
That's the problem with jumping attacks, because you can make that happen with jumping attacks just on a completely level appropriate character, because there's so much stuff that buffs them, but it doesn't look like he has at least half of that, so you're probably right.
So yeah, here I'm just trying to finish off the... Yeah, I think you saw one jump.
I legitimately can't believe that he went for that. Did he just not have any more healing or something?
Apparently, yeah. See, that's...
Ooh, yeah, that's a big chunk of damage.
And yeah, these guys were aggressive from the very beginning, so I was on the back pedal the whole time.
Yeah, coordinated teams, or at least 3-mans that are summoned intentionally, do seem to have that kind of confidence of God at the beginning, when there's 3 of them and 1 of you, and they're just high on the whole power of it all.
Power tripping, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it now though. Once one goes, the caution starts setting in, the slow suspicion that this might not be going according to plan. Oh my god, he ducked under you because he was still in the slam down animation. That's hilarious. The hitboxes in this game are something else.
Definitely.
When they're not just by lag. Ooh, that was a nice hit and run there. The thrusting swords in this game are great for this kind of behavior, just ducking in and out, in and out. With the great swords, you kind of have to commit to a scrum and some trade-offs, but the thrusting swords just allow you to be all nimbly-bimbly, like a little mosquito.
No. I'm streaming today, and I'll probably like try out the S-Talk a little bit more. Especially the R2 seems quite interesting.
Honestly, I've been meaning to try out the S-Dot myself, give it some dedicated screen time. I've spent most of this week on my int build, unfortunately. Nice work breaking these guys up, by the way. I'm noticing how you're dodging in between them and forcing them to back away from you while you're right in the middle, and therefore pushing them apart relative to each other.
No.
Yeah. Ooh. Scary times with Kari retaliation.
Yeah, that was a perfect instance of the hitbox being very precise. So I get the stagger here, but not the hit. And I think the hit.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the hit would have probably killed me here at such low level HP. So.
Yeah, looking at it, although there is definitely that suspected mechanic whereby it saves a last bit of your health if it's not killing you by much. So you might have survived that regardless.
True.
That seems to me to be why power stance weapons are in fact so powerful, because while you might get someone down to the last of their HP and that mechanic may trigger, you still kill them with the second weapon because it's two distinct hits.
Yeah. Which is harder to do with great swords or anything big and bonky.
But frankly, the existence of that mechanic is still a superstition to me, so I really love to hear that confirmed or otherwise. Whoa!
Yeah, here I knew from the beginning that the host had slow HP, and I didn't intend to kill him there. I just wanted to put some damage in for him to heal, and I didn't think that the frostbite there will proc. So yeah, it ended rather quickly there.
It is always a bit of a question of when with status build up, but that was a really nice risk it for the biscuit moment. That was committing to some damage and hoping to outtrade it where it counts is sometimes all you can do.
Yeah, and that was the invasion.
That was nice. That really good demonstration of managing your space. Can we quickly jump back to the first part where you're running around this hill of bodies?
Here, or
yeah, this bit when you're on top of the hill. It shows exactly why I dearly hate fighting around this place, because there's just so many hazards that you're avoiding.
Okay. Here you mean, or here I almost got blended.
From there.
Okay, from there we play it.
Because when you're down at the side here, they all funnel into a group, so it's not a great way to escape. It's not that much better than the place outside Radahn's boss arena, to be honest. But this bit in here, just beyond those palisade walls, is where everything started becoming more controlled, because there were only so many avenues that they could attack, and you could focus them in a much more defined space. There's that lovely little bottleneck.
Yeah, and this also was quite deliberate here with the. So I wanted them to think that I will jump down left and just go out of the door, and that's why I did this, right? In the hopes that they would be stupid enough to think that I'm going down, and it worked out perfectly.
I didn't notice that they'd all jumped over before, even after they'd noticed you hadn't gone all the way.
Yeah, unfortunately I whiffed the fire pot here, so I didn't aim that correctly. So yeah.
Always the way. But it was still a lovely little reposition, though. It gave everyone a big break in combat, gave you time to sort of evaluate your situation, and they couldn't really advance on you blindly up the stairwell because they would be bottlenecked, and that's a place you actually do have an advantage with the flaming strike.
Yeah, and here it gave me time to go for the riposte on the host there.
That tiny sliver of health at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, now everything is managed like pretty much perfectly. It was the start that was the clusterfuck, but once they were sort of put in their order, everything was managed very, very nicely by yourself.
Nice. Yeah.
That's pretty much all that I wanted for that part.
Okay, good. Anything else that you noticed or want to talk about?
There is. I want to quickly mention the. What would you call it? because it's not a full turn and burn. You're not like doing the full damage and bust away, but you're doing this towards the end when there's just the last two. There's this constant hit and run with the what was it, the clean rot sword, or was it the great Epee? I can't remember.
Probably was you mean here? I think it was still the Epee, but no, the clean rot.
Yeah, the clean rot. That is, I think, a perfect example of how both how that weapon should be used and how to manage a really aggressive high damage gank like this. Well, a high damage team like this, because you can't go in with the I'm just going to start trading with everything. You later use the Claymore heavy just to sort of get that reach, and just sort of poking them from the outside and making them back off and then backing off and running back in again it just immediately makes you the commander of this combat. They're blindly running after you here, and this is the point where they should have backed off.
Yeah, now that you say it, I see it. Yeah, it's always for me just playing around with what works for what group. And yeah, I'm not sure why I went for the Claymore here. I think it was the new stagger, which is insane. But well, also on the frosting swords, I guess. And it might even have been some, no, not FP conversion, because on the clean rod I don't use any things. Yeah, I think it's just playing around and then also trying to make sure that they're not getting too comfortable with my my moveset. So usually you tend to start to repeat your moveset, and they pick up on it and try to counter that. And
they learn you in your ways.
Exactly, and by just switching to a different weapon, it will immediately break that confidence they had. Oh, we figured him out, what he's doing and how he's moving, and now he's suddenly on a Claymore and moves completely differently. So we need to readjust. That's
honestly a really good example of why you need, or why you gain a great advantage from having, even if you're just using one kind of weapon, of having a bunch of that weapon with a different Ash of War or a different loadout or damage type, just so you can switch between them and confuse the person you're fighting as to what exactly you're doing. Because most people you invade aren't duelists, right? They're not fully versed in all of the ways to fight between people, and sometimes pulling out a weapon that they haven't seen before is more advantageous than pulling out a weapon that's really powerful that they have seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Leyndell seems interesting already.
I think this was the 3-man I invaded. I think I spent a short amount of time actually finding them.
All right.
Memory, but...
So 1 minute 31. So shall I? Yeah, let's play this out.
Wait, no. This is a completely different one. This is, I think, the first time I tried. Sorry, this is the first time I tried out the Royal Knight's Resolve on the Gugs, and I hadn't sort of played much around with the Guts Ultra Greatsword before, because obviously my carry weight had been basically to the decimal point of what I could carry, and I could not carry this thing and retain my poise level. But since the update, I 100% can, and so I decided to have a bit of fun.
Really? So, but you're still pre-patch poise level then, or?
No, I've actually had to change out a couple of talismans, but I'm now at the good old, I think it's 87 or 90 poise, I think, and it's heavenly.
Okay, interesting, because when I jumped onto my strength character for the first time after the patch, I had trouble hitting that poise with my fashion, but I think we'll see that in the next clip, so let's just move on here.
Yeah, honestly, that's the best part of the Banished Knight set. It looks good, and it's got good stats. It's not the most inventive thing in the world. It's like, every second person is wearing it, but they look good wearing it. And the crouch poke has gone completely out of any moveset that I'm using. It's R1 from here on, baby.
Really? Okay, nice. Or the rolling crouch poke, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you can only roll.
That was a quick one. Yeah.
I was just genuinely floored by how effective just rolling in and swinging was there at all.
So let me rewind that real quick. So I haven't played with the Ultras yet since the patch. So what can you tell me about it? Is it significantly faster, the R1? It seems like it, right?
It's not a huge amount faster. With 1.06, the swing actually got slower. But this
Okay.
is about as fast as the second update, 1.04 or something, buffed them up to be, or maybe slightly faster. And because the
Okay.
crouch poke has been nerfed so heavily, the rest of the moveset has had to be replace it, because just crouch poking now is a good way to die.
Okay.
So what is the good the good fun now is the running attack and the essentially the run up to someone and R1 tactics of Dark Souls 3 do just work here, because it gets so much hyper armor and it does so much damage that trading is almost always something you're going to win, unless they have a big power stance greatswords or something.
No.
You're going to stagger them and you're going to do a lot of damage. So you are the safe bet for the trade.
Okay, so takeaway, don't try to trade into great swords when you see them
Pretty
after the
much.
patch. Okay, nice.
What you can do is you can still out damage them quite heavily, and you can definitely still outrange them, because they are still, even though their speed has been buffed, they are still very slow.
No.
But people don't expect the rest of the greatsword moveset because no one has used it until now.
Fair point, yeah. So yeah, here, yeah, okay. Like when fighting ultras, I tend to just have some frosting sword, a quick one. Just go in for a few hits. Especially if they don't do the follow-up, they still get staggered. Because I think the hyper armor only lasts if you keep the chain going, right? Yeah, here you can see. So I think a follow-up here wouldn't have staggered you out of there from the bloody slash, but that might just be
You
me.
can see the other weakness there is that it takes so much stamina to swing that they
Oh
can't
yeah,
do
you're right of
wrong.
stem. You're right.
So you sort of wait out that swinging, and once the swings end, their zone of safety is gone, and they probably can't dodge anymore. So if you can outlast the UGS, then you can win. But the trick is not dying immediately.
All right.
Although I will say, I still do like the Zweihander a great deal because of its heavy poke. The Gugs has a huge swing for a heavy, and it's nice, but it's nowhere near as useful as the Zweihander's big ol' thrust.
And in what way did they nerf the poke? If you could
It's
elaborate.
I'm just going to estimate and say it's about 2.5 times as slow now. So, like, before you could literally just spam it faster than anyone could roll. So you would be able to guarantee a roll catch if you were paying attention.
Okay.
Now, you can really only can catch someone every second roll, because it doesn't come out fast enough to be a roll catch anymore, which is good.
Interesting.
Because it was kind of mindless. It was very, very fun to fight against someone who was mirroring you, because it became a huge mind game. But against anything else, I will have to agree with most in that it kind of trivialized encounters.
Okay. And did they adjust the hitbox as well?
I think they reduced its tracking, and I think they made the hitbox slightly smaller. I haven't noticed much change to the hitbox, but the tracking is definitely worse.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah, short and sweet invasion. Very nice. Very quick. Especially with the Royal Knights Resolve. They didn't nerf the damage there, right? So you still do shit tons of damage with that, if I see that correctly. So,
I mean, the multiplicative part of it just means that Royal Knights Resolve is still a top tier choice for basically any weapon, just because, I mean, look at that, 899 damage from a running attack.
That's at level 80, 90?
80. 80 plus
all
16.
Right. Yeah, that's a lot.
And it does a real good job of making people back off, but you are very vulnerable after you've done basically anything with the UGS. So you commit to your strikes, but you know where you're committing.
Yeah, we can see that the caster wants to get in with the slicer, but yeah.
Yeah, that caster was not doing the correct thing at all.
Lovely.